black cards now, going back to commons and cheap stuff. Starting with Callous Inspector. Single black mana for a 1/1 menace. When it dies, it deals 1 damage to you, and you make a clue token. So I think one thing that's just good to talk about with this card is black has a fairly supported and heavy sacrifice theme. Lots of cards are sacrifice cards, so this is sacrifice fodder. It gives you 2 things to sacrifice. Sometimes you want the clue and just want to crack it for a card, but sometimes you want to sack the clue.
This is kind of the only fodder that I'm happy sacrificing, though.
Right, and I like that distinction. You brought this up on some other set reviews we've done, but there's like a difference between, hey, here's like a 3/3 that makes a 1/1. Okay, I can sack that 1/1. It's quote unquote sack fodder, but giving up a 1/1 is still something, right? This kind of sack fodder, you're actually getting something back in return.
Yeah, it's partly is the thing you're getting better than the thing you're sacrificing, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, I guess the difference would be we've seen cards where you have a 1/1 that dies into a 2/2, and then you have cards that are a 2/2 that die into a 1/1. And the first card I would consider sacrifice fodder, and the second card I wouldn't, if that makes sense.
Right.
So this is like, in most cases, especially in the later game, you'd rather have the clue than the 1/1 menace. It is nice that it pecks in for a few damage here and there initially, but I'm not a believer in much of the sacrifice package too much, and actually not that big of a believer in black in general. So I gave this a C-. You gave it a C. Curious to see how the black decks are going to pan out, though.
Yeah, if I am to guess what's going to happen is it's going to be overvalued early. Just like it's kind of an obvious thing to do. People will back off of it, and then after a week or two, maybe a little more than that, this might be something you can explore because the cards don't go as early as they did before. Next up is Deadly Precision. Single black mana for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you pay 4 or sacrifice an artifact or creature. Destroy a target creature. Okay, so we've seen this kind of card. It's fine. It's nothing special. If you're very sacrifice fodder heavy, sure, it's a very efficient removal spell, but sacking is a cost. Paying 5 for a sorcery speed removal spell is a cost.
Yeah, so we've seen, like, when I first started doing reviews with you, I went on a whole rant about how I hate these types of cards, and then we had a bunch of them where they were actually like pretty good, and I for at least for most of them caught on that they were going to be good during the set review. I'm back to strongly disliking this card, though.
Strongly disliking it. Yeah, I think I like it a little more than you, but I agree. It's not a premium removal spell by any means.
Yeah, there's a few that, like, maybe heavy black white is the spot for this, and which is the reason why I didn't give it like too low a grade. But I expect I'm going to play very, very, very few of these for this format. I gave Deadly Precision a D+. You were a little higher at a C-.
We've got Merchant of Many Hats up next. This is 1 in a black for a 2/2 ally. You can pay 3 mana, 2 in a black, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. So another kind of sacrifice-ish card, but super clunky.
The thing that worries me is if the best color in the format is blue, you don't want your like little sacrifice prolong the game things to be like trinkety.
Yes. Blue will just
you're just gonna lose the long game.
Yeah. You're like going 1.3 percentage of a card or whatever, or wait, 1.3 of a card. The blue player cast their draw 3, and you're like, okay, I did so much work for everything that they did in one card.
Yeah, we both gave the Merchant a D+.
We've got Corrupt Court Official. This is 1 in a black for a 1/1. When it enters, target opponent discards a card. So yeah, this is the Virus Beetle slot of the set, and once again, it's like a sack foddery card that you're giving up a 1/1. That's a relevant body. There's no finicky pick this up kind of things. I mean, there's like airbending, I suppose, that actually matters to some degree. But I think this version is just going to be fine in this set.
Yeah, I agree. Not an ally. We both gave it a C.
Dai Li Indoctrination. This is 1 in a black for a lesson sorcery. Either target opponent reveals their hand, you choose a non-land permanent from it, that player discards a card, or Earthbend 2. So kind of similar to the white destroy target creature, power 4 or greater. You've got this narrow effect with an earthbending buyout.
It is kind of nice that like there's a pretty clear on turn 2 you're going to want to do the top part, and on turn 8 you're going to want to do the bottom part.
Going to want to
I
is it's like, well, okay, I guess I have a tutu here, but yeah, and I know what you mean.
Well, like, yeah, because I mean that's the point where their hand is empty, so you get like something that's actually going to be relevant on the board.
It's a big upgrade over this being a dead card. That's I'll definitely buy that, but still not super exciting. What do you give this one?
We both gave it a D+.
Next up, we've got Azula Always Lies. This is 1 and a black for an instant lesson. Choose one or both. Target creature you control. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, or /and put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So can result in 2-for-1s. You get into a combat situation where you buff one thing of yours, you make your opponent's thing smaller. Pretty small band of game states where that actually happens. Kills what, like, if you can kill a kill a 1/1 and put a counter on something, like, that's an okay deal. Kind of just like a trinkety trick that sometimes will have blowout moments.
Yeah, I remember being really high on Skullduggery during, what was it, OTJ that it was out in?
Yes, that's right.
I think so. And then it kind of underperformed. OTJ was really about going, like, big and playing bombs, and so even though this costs double the mana, it does give you the permanent buff, and I do think this will be playable. So
Me too.
Not super excited about it. You gave it a C. I was a little lower on a C-.
Pirate Peddler is up next. This is 2 and a black for a 2/2 Death Touch. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So once again, start small. Although it has Death Touch, that actually makes up for a little bit, not a ton, but I like it more. It's not just like an irrelevant body sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. This like no matter what, we're not gonna love this card, but I could see this being like an okay variant of this kind of effect.
I'm not interested for me. You gave it a D+. I was lower at a D.
Next up, we got Swampsnare Trap. This is 2 and a black for an aura. It costs 1 less to cast if it targets a creature with flying, and the enchanted creature gets -5, -3.
This card's also kind of bad, right? Isn't it?
Well, for 3 mana, you're trading, like, let's just assume you're not hitting a flyer. You're almost certainly going to be able to kill something. So sorcery speed, 3 mana, like, trading even. Or down a lot of the time. This is true. And then if you have to target a big thing, it makes it smaller, but that's not great. Yeah, I actually think you're right. I probably overrated this one a little bit.
I bumped this up a little bit just because I don't see, like, partly because the removal in this set is kind of bad overall. You're going to have to play some of it. And so I think this almost gets played out of necessity.
Right.
But this card, like 3 mana, sorcery, 3 damage roughly is a bad card.
Not good. And it's not exactly that. But at the same time, it's not exactly that in the sense of it can get blown out with all the other enchantment-based removal spells like we've talked about. Yeah,
right,
no,
and like airbending and waterbending and like all. Yeah, so I'm I bumped this up to a C- just because I think you're going to end up playing some number of these. But black is really looking rough to me. You were a little higher at a C.
Yeah, I think I'd probably join you there. Hog-monkey, more hybrids here. 2 and a black for a 3/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it gains menace until end of turn, has exhaust, 5 mana, put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature. Notably, black-green is a +1/+1 counter deck, so that's what this is kind of referring to. Not super interested.
I think this one might be okay.
So, like, you're thinking... Yeah, go ahead.
We saw during Aether Drift, the threat of activation exhaust is worth quite a bit in combat. And there's not really a size of creature that's like happy to block this.
Right, yeah. You're often going to... Yeah, it's often going to give your opponent a bit of a headache in combat. I'll admit that. I just really dislike the the 3-mana 3/2 side of things here.
I agree. Yeah, I gave it a D plus, but I was just a little higher than you. You give it a D.
Yeah, yeah. All right, next up is Foggy Swamp Hunters, another kind of junker, I think. 3 into black for a 3/4 ally. As long as you draw in 2 or more cards this turn, this card has lifelink and menace.
I wish this was lifelink and death touch.
Yeah, that I think would make it a lot better. I totally agree.
Well, we saw that there was the Brothers War one was lifelink death touch, right?
Yep, that one was actually okay.
Yeah, it was a 5-mana 4/5. But
Yeah.
that one was pretty good. Like lifelink and menace is you need to do it pre-combat, so you can't really threaten it.
Yeah.
Then you have to move the blocker, and they can just not interested. I gave this a D. You gave it a D minus.
Sold out. This is 3 into black for an instant. Exile target creature. If it was dealt damage this turn, create a clue token. So often the kind of dividing line between is the 4-mana catch-all black removal spell playable or really good, like actively good, is does it give you a little trinket, right? Does it give you a clue or a treasure or maybe a food? And this one can, but I think it's fairly rare that you're actually going to get the clue.
There'll be spots that you want to turn your 1 drop into like a clue. That's
like you're going to use your 4-mana removal spell on your 1 drop to turn to a clue.
No. Like you either.
Oh, I see. You chump. I see what you're saying. Sorry. Yeah. What I said didn't even make sense. Yeah, I understand. You chump, they deal a damage. You get a clue.
Yeah. So the upside's not totally fake. I would have liked if this were a lesson. It would have been a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
I think as is, it's just fine. We both gave it a C plus.
Yeah, totally. Beetle-headed Merchants is 4 and black for a 5/4. Whenever this creature attacks, you can sacrifice another creature or artifact. If you do, draw a card and put a counter on this card.
Another one of these 5-mana, no ETB, no protection. You just need to untap an attack and do the thing. This one's not one of the good ones. We both gave it a D.
Yeah, I mean, not to, put the game designer hat on here, but it really feels like they could have made this enters or attacks, Next up is Canyon Crawler, 4 black for a 6/6 death touch. When it enters, you make a food token, and this is the Swamp Cycler. So this one I actually don't hate. Like, giant body, hard to block, gives you a food, cycle early. Like, out of all of the cyclers, this might be my favorite.
There is also a black reanimation spell.
That's a good point. Yeah, so there's a little bit of that fun to be had there. All that said,
you're higher than me on this one. I think you could be right on this one. You gave it a C minus. I gave it a D plus.
Yeah, I was gonna say all that said, still not super excited about it. And speaking of which, this is it. So we're at the instant. Oh, sorry, we're at the uncommons now. Zuko's Conviction, single black mana instant with kicker 4. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand, and if the spell was kicked, return to the battlefield instead, but tapped. So 1 mana, buy something back to your hand. 5 mana, reanimate.
I actually really like the split on this.
Me too.
Because if you have a big thing to return, you reanimate it, and if you have a small thing to return, you just raised it.
Yeah. It's they've been massaging this 5 mana reanimation slot for a while now, and I think this one kind of hits a nice sweet spot.
Yeah. That being said, I'm still not thrilled about it. We both gave it a D plus.
Next up is Northern Air Tempo. So this is the Shrine. Single black mana. When it enters, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of shrines you control. And whenever another shrine you control enters, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life.
Just the shrines don't affect the board.
Yeah.
It just seems like you need to play so many of them and do all these wheel spinning things. And again, if you get 3 triggers off this, 1 mana drain 3 is pretty good, but it's just so much nothing.
And then you airbend it and you do it again. And yeah. I think these are I'm trying to look at the good in these basically, but if I'm really thinking about this critically, I think this is probably a cycle aimed at Commander players, because shrines are pretty big in Commander. So, yeah, I've lost a little bit of faith in them as we've gone on, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Okay.
gave this one, as I said, all of them they got D from me. You gave this one a C minus, which it sounds like you may be walking back a little.
Yeah, yeah. Next up is a pretty cool one. Judy, one of many. One in a black for a 2/2. Has the ability black, tap, surveil one, and then you create a token that's a copy of this creature. Then sacrifice an artifact or creature. Activate only as a sorcery. Man, I looked at this card for a good few minutes yesterday. I was like, how? What are you supposed to be doing with this card? I don't understand it. I thought it was a legend at first. You know, you forgive me for thinking that the comma in the name indicated it was a legend. I understand why it's not, but it's an interesting card. I don't know. What do you think about this one?
I really don't like it, and you
Yeah,
seemingly do. Like we're three. I did read this,
properly.
properly. It wasn't me misunderstanding
Mark's
it.
got reading comprehension skills.
Well, I'm just saying because we're so different apart. Maybe you thought that I hadn't read it
No, no,
properly
no, no,
either. But
absolutely
yeah,
not. Absolutely not. I would tell you. um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking like you upgrade your 1/1 menace, make a clue, make a 2/2. Then you got this clue you can sack. You're finding more sack fodder. It does sound kind of finicky. Yeah,
is
yeah.
turning a clue into a tutu even an upgrade?
I think so. Yeah, I think like because you're adding a surveil on too, right? So it's like a 1 mana 2/2 with the surveil. I think that's good.
Well, no. You get the surveil whether you turn the clue into the creature or
Oh,
not.
that's fair. That is fair. Yes, yes. More reading of this card incorrectly. I think I should probably back out of evaluating this card from now on, and we'll just say I'm probably too high on it.
Like, so we've seen creatures that have this ability with not gated to sorcery speed,
Right,
right?
and
Like,
that matters, right? Because you can't do the upkeep surveil, which sometimes you do.
well, and like block or like end step or
Sure.
whatever. Like that's
Yeah, yeah.
almost always what you want to do with them. And even those are not like great cards. Like the fact that there's a mana cost to this means you're not doing it until you basically run out of stuff to do. And then at that point, I just don't see it like mattering a lot of the time. It's just a tutu.
It does give you like when you sacrifice a thing, do a thing triggers. That's kind of
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm sold. I'm sold on not being sold on it. So what do we give it?
I gave it a D plus, which is kind of the grade. Yeah, occasionally there's going to be spots where you're okay with it. You were, and yeah, chat mentions that there is a threaten in the sect, so
Yeah,
that's a
that
way to
matters.
make that work as well. You gave it a C plus.
Yeah, I still wonder if maybe there's something going on with this card, but I'll start low on it as well.
It's different. I'll give it
It's
that. I
different.
could be wrong.
It's different. Yeah,
Yeah.
hard to evaluate. Fatal Fissure. 1 in a black for an instant. Choose target creature. When that creature dies this turn, Earthbend 4. Also kind of a different card. This isn't something we see very often.
Not a card you can ever cast on turn 2, though.
Right.
And so by the time you're making this 4/4, I'm not sure it's gonna matter that much. You know what I mean?
It can lead to some pretty nasty blowouts, right? Kill a thing in combat, wake up a 4/4.
That requires a lot of mana.
Sure does, sure does. Yeah, because like you've mentioned with the Airbend before, you need to have an untapped land if you want to ambush. Just thought I'd throw it out there. I think you gave this like a synergy or a build around grade, correct? Is that like just based on how much removal you have is the idea?
I honestly, so I'm looking just at the grade comparison, so it doesn't have any of the tags on them. I honestly do not remember if I gave this a synergy or build around grade, but yeah, no, I mean, not an unplayable card, but I gave it a D. I'm pessimistic there.
Uh huh.
You were a little higher at a D plus.
Yeah, I like. I guess good with removal, good with sacrifice things you want to sacrifice. It's a weird card. It's a weird card. Yeah, I think we should probably start low though, because like just any card that when you draw it doesn't immediately like you can't immediately go, oh, I'm gonna cast this and it's gonna do a good thing. Like that instantly gets bumped down. So
Yeah, cards that are like best case scenario cards are always worse than they look.
next up is June, Bounty Hunter. 1 in a black for a legendary 2/2. June can't be blocked as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. Has the ability 1, sacrifice another creature, create a clue token, Activate this only during your turn, though. Okay.
It's kind of funny because so I also don't really like this card, and it's almost the opposite of Judy, but I almost want to make the same argument. So like
Hmm.
with Judy, I was like, is turning a clue into a 2/2 even worth it? And then with this card, I'm going to be like, is turning a 2/2 into a clue even worth it?
No, but you don't see
And
the
both of them is just
vision. Go
because of
ahead.
the fact that like you have to spend mana on both of them.
Yeah, yeah. The vision is just like turning your creatures into clues, and then clues into creatures, and then creatures into clues, like that. You're taking game actions, and as Yurkovitz always says, the person who spends the most mana in a game will win that game. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, weird one, weird one. I guess mostly you're looking at this as like for the blue black deck, it's an unblockable 2/2 sometimes, right? And then like some other utility here and there.
But does blue black want an unblockable 2/2?
I think so. I think it's not like I don't think it's a hard control deck or anything. I think it's fairly like, you know, creature forward tempo control ish. That's a lot of magic buzzwords, but you know what I mean.
So what is the hard control deck in the format then?
I would imagine it's like it probably is like just blue based, and it could be other colors. Like I can see it branching into honestly all the colors. Maybe no, I was gonna say maybe not green, but even green potentially.
Yeah, so maybe this is like black blue instead of blue black type of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. The big letter small letter difference there.
Yeah, we'll see on this. Like
Yeah.
the black finicky sacrifice stuff, I'm not a believer in. I gave June a C minus. You were a little higher at a C.
Next, we've got Heartless Act. 1 in a black for an instant. They really like showing torturing animals on this card. This was on the last time we had Heartless Act. So this is 1 in a black for an instant. Either destroy target creature with no counters on them, or remove up to 3 counters from target creature.
Which should be like almost all the counters we see are plus almost one counters. I mean, you can remove the blood moon counter from that rare
Sure, sure.
randomly.
There's like a red vehicle that puts fire counters on itself. So just, a few things here.
Yeah, but like most earthbending is less than 4, so you can
Mhm.
kill an earthbent land still. So it kills most things.
Yeah, and pretty good. Like I think we see this kind of thing where it's like, oh, it's a 2 mana kill mostly anything, but there's some conditions. I think this is not that conditional. I think this will kill most things you care about.
Yeah, we both gave Heartless Act a B minus.
Epic Downfall up next. 1 in a black for a sorcery. Exile a target creature with mana value 3 or greater. So similar card. Sorcery hits other thing, different things. Exiles does not hit
Trades up on
lands.
mana, like
Trades up on mana.
basically,
Yeah.
so always going to be good. You're higher on this. I think you probably got the right call on this. I think I should have gone up a little bit. I gave Epic Downfall a B minus. You gave it a B.
Yeah, I think it's fairly comparable to the last card.
Yeah.
Ruinous Waterbending up next. This is 1 black for a sorcery lesson. As an additional cost to cast this, you may waterbend 4. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn, and if this spell's additional cost was paid, whenever a creature dies this turn, you gain 1 life. I mean, I really thought it was going to be like, oh, just your opponent's creatures get -2/-2. Getting a
Yeah.
life is, or getting just 1 life on all the creatures is kind of rough for an additional 4. I guess if you're killing things, like the things are going to die anyways, you don't mind tapping them, but usually these like -2/-2 effects are not particularly strong.
Yeah, definitely not enough for me to be main decking this card, so we both gave it a sideboard grade.
Yep, exactly. Wolfbats. Creature type Wolfbat. This is 2 in a black for a 2/2 flyer. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, you can pay black. If you do, return this from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it.
So no, I don't know if you listened to Lords of Limited, and Ethan was kind of going on about which one of these had the creature type match the type line.
I didn't yet.
For
No.
me, so this one is Wolfbat and creature is Wolfbat, so
Yeah.
it matches, and some of them don't. The thing that bothers me about some of these is that some of them are hyphenated and some of them aren't.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's the logic here? Like, why is anyways? I am reasonably interested in this in a blue-black, like, kind of draw two style deck. Getting two bodies for 4 mana roughly is usually a pretty good deal. It has flying. You can mill this. There's some upside there. Still not thrilled about it. I gave it a D plus. You were on a C minus.
Yeah, I think just like good on offense, or just like reasonable on offense, and pretty good on defense. Like your opponent's not going to want to trade. It comes back at some point. So yeah, interesting card.
Very easy to trigger.
Yes,
like, there's a lot of
yes,
draw in this.
a lot of draw.
Yeah.
Fire Navy Trebuchet is 2 and a black for an artifact creature wall. It has Defender and Reach, and it's an 0/4. All right, it's gotta have something good here. Whenever you attack, you make a 2/1 colorless construct artifact token with flying named Ballistic Boulder that's tapped and attacking. Sack that token at the beginning of the next end step. So we saw this card, a very similar card, in Lord of the Rings. The Trebuchet, it's also a Trebuchet, and that card was not good. Despite people kind of liking it, if I remember correctly, that card is not very good. And this card is not very different.
Yeah, that one was a 1/4 instead of an 0/4, but it didn't have reach.
Right.
So very similar. And it's another one of these, like, you can envision the case where it's good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's very much you need X, Y, Z to all line up perfectly. So in this case, you need to have an attacker. The attacker, needs to be good enough to get through. And you need your 2/1 to also be able to get through or to do something with it to be able to kind of do the thing.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
it's also kind of annoying that Judy is sorcery speed, so like can't sacrifice this in combat. Although June is just on your turn.
Although
so you can turn it into a clue with June. You can only turn it into a copy of Judy, though, if the token survives the combat.
Right, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. I thought you were going to say it only survives to the end of combat, like some of these do, but yeah, it has to survive.
Yeah.
Until proven otherwise, I'm out on this card. Like, I think comparisons to older cards, there's a pretty strong tool to use. Works like 80% of the time, I would say, and yeah, I'll just have to be convinced. So I think we're both pretty low on this one.
Yeah, we both gave it a D, but I could see being wrong on this for sure.
Tundra Tank is 2 and a black for a 4/4 vehicle. It has Firebending 1. Okay, so this is our first instance of Firebending, funny enough. It says, whenever this creature attacks, add red. This mana lasts until the end of combat. So you've got to find some way to use the mana at instant speed in combat. That could be crack a clue, cast a trick, cast a flash card, all the activated ability. And one nice thing I'll shout out here is quality of life. The Arena team has confirmed that if you have something to do with the mana, you'll get a stop before you're into combat. It won't rush you through combat, so you don't have to full control. Okay, so back to this card. 4 mana, 4/4, vehicle, Firebending 1, crew 1. That's nice. When this vehicle enters, target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn.
I, again, just want to gush, like, out of all, this is, the last of the bending abilities we've seen. This one is not necessarily the strongest, but definitely my favorite.
It's so interesting. And it's just like, whoa.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's always super cool when they stumble upon a mechanic that there aren't really many things that are similar to it, right? After 30 years of Magic, there's a lot of kind of retreads, but whenever there's one like this, it's like, oh, wow, that's like something we really haven't seen very much before. It's always cool.
Firebending 1 especially makes, again, for such interesting gameplay decisions, because let's say, you play this on turn 3, turn 4, you wake it up and you attack.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've got that 1 mana in your pool and your opponent doesn't know what you can do with it.
Right.
So they've got this situation now where if they block, like maybe you have like a 2 mana trick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So do they want you to be able to use the mana on the trick? Well, not really. So then maybe they don't block. But also you might have a 4-drop in your hand. Whereas if they force you to use the trick, you don't get to cast your 4-drop. So there's really weird tension. There's going to be a lot of spots where the person with the firebending really wants the opponent to do one of the two. Either they really want them to block so they can use the mana on the trick, or they really want them not to block so they can cast their curve out spell. But as the opponent, you're not going to know which one of it is.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Very cool, very cool. What do we think about this card, though?
I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. After, vehicles, I think they're ebbs and flows how good vehicles tend to be, but like this is one I'm pretty happy to play.
Yeah, we both gave Tundra Tank a C.
Yeah. Ozai's Cruelty is 2 and a black for a lesson sorcery. It deals 2 damage to target player, and that player discards 2 cards. Mind Rot, 3 mana discard 2, is generally we consider a sideboard card, like, or a very low tier playable. Does adding 2 damage and a lesson change that for us?
I think so. I kind of like this.
2 damage matters. 2 damage really matters.
2 damage matters, and lesson will matter. Like, again, not really a black thing, but there'll be times when you're interested in the lesson version of this, and you combine those two. I think this card's decent enough.
Decent enough is a good description. Yeah. So what do we give this?
We both gave it a C-.
Next up, we've got Fire Nation Engineer. This is 2 and a black for a 2/3. Has a raid, which means when if you attack, you do something, and it says at the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature or vehicle you control.
Another really hurts this thing.
Yeah, very vanilla too. I mean, if you can get a counter every combat, feels nice if you're snowballing, but yeah, I really wish you could put it on itself.
It is like nice that this doesn't need to see the attacker. So like you can go 2-drop into this, and like if they don't block because of your threat of a combat trick or whatever, you do get to grow the 2-drop. But like if they just trade 2-drops, like there's no benefit here.
Right. Yeah, that's a big deal. Honestly, I think I might have missed that another word when I was grading it. So I'm probably a little bit higher than I should be.
You're only a little like a micrograde higher, which I could see it being like you're at C-. I'm at D+. I could see it being a C-. I don't think you're far off there.
I don't hate the card. For what it's worth, I don't hate this card.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the awkwardness that we talked about. Azula on the Hunt up next. This is 3 and a black for a 4/3 legendary creature. Firebending 2, and when Azula attacks, you lose a life and you create a clue token. So back to the evaluation of, okay, no hexproof, no ward, no enter the battlefield effect, but makes you mana and draws you cards when it attacks. Like that's getting into the realm of tempting.
It's like one or the other.
Right. Sure. Yeah, it's not. Well, it makes you mana and then draws you cards on a later date. Like it could be kind of both. When you don't care, like when you're not as tight on mana, you can cash in the clues later.
Sure. Yeah. That's reasonable. And I do like that. I mean, even though this dies to Lightning Strike, I do think it's a playable card.
Yes, I think that's a perfect way to put it. Playable. What do we give it?
We both gave Azula a C-.
We've got Buzzard-wasp Colony up next. 3 and a black for a 2/2. It's got flying, and it says when this creature enters, you can sacrifice an artifact or a creature. If you do, draw a card. Whenever another creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, put its counters on this creature. Okay, so let's say there's that white creature that you can sacrifice. That comes in with a +1/+1 counter. 2 mana, 1/2 comes with the counter. Sack that, you cash it in, you draw a card, you put a counter on this. I don't really feel like you're doing it.
Isn't this just a green-black card?
Yeah, I guess that it would have been better if I used the green or a black card as an example.
Well, it's like, isn't the joke that you just sack your earthbended lands?
Okay, yeah, I actually didn't consider that at first. That's a good call. That's actually one thing. Oh, yeah, so go ahead.
Almost any size of earthbended land, I think I'm pretty happy sacrificing.
Okay, yeah. And that's one thing actually to call out. I can't remember if we did when we first talked about earthbending, but it actually is kind of an okay sacrifice fodder mechanic. Like, you're giving up something like we've been talking about, but you're not giving up a whole card. It returns to a land. So yeah, there's some mechanical crossover there that I think is kind of non-obvious.
Yeah, so if you have a 2/2 earthbended thing, then you're making a 4/4 flyer, draw a card.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I'm convinced. Like, there's a lot of cards when we get to green that just like, a creature that comes in Earthbends 2 or something, right? So it's not like you're also not giving up a full card. Usually it's not a full card to Earthbend. Okay, so with that context, we're still not super high on the card.
Yeah, I was a little higher than you, which I guess explains why now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was at a C minus. You were at a D plus.
Next, we've got Lo and Lee, twin tutors, 4 and a black for a 2/2 legend. It's a human advisor, which might kind of sort of matter in a second. So when it enters, search your library for a lesson or a noble card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Noble creatures you control and lesson spells you control have lifelink. So notable because this isn't a noble itself. And I think this is just like rattling this off my top of my head. I think I saw something that said there's like 7 nobles in the set.
Well, it would be all of the Zukos, Azulas, Ozais.
Right. Maybe even a few
So
more.
Odin probably too, and yeah.
Yeah, maybe Chad can correct me
There's a
on
few
that.
of them.
Yeah, there's a few of them. So kind of cool. I think this card obviously depends on like what you have to go get, and not only the tippity top of what you have to go get, but like the spread of different effects. Generally, when you have a toolbox card, you want to have it be as flexible as possible. It's pretty pricey.
Getting a we haven't seen red yet, but getting a firebending lesson with lifelinks, not bad.
Yeah, definitely.
It's still a 5 mana 2/2 though.
Sure is 5 mana 2/2.
I found this one tough to grade. I'm 2 grades lower than you, but not with a high degree of confidence here. I gave Lo and Lee a C minus. You were at a C plus, and I'm pretty sure that's both with the synergy or build around tag.
Yeah, exactly. Cat-gator, hyphenated, by the way. This is 6 and a black for a lifelinking 3/2. When it enters, it deals damage equal to the number of swamps you control to any target. So yeah, the monocolored payoff, and it's a good one. It's a really good one.
I again just like to gush about. There's so many things I like in this set. I love that this card exists because even if black sucks, if you can get like 2 of these and all the black cards, you have a game plan.
Yep, especially because there's recursion, ways to buy in the back,
Airbending.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that at first. Yeah, great. It's we used to get what is it? Was it corrupt? Is that the card, or that this is based off of? Or there's some other. Yeah.
Yes, corrupt.
You used to get it without the body, basically, and having a body is a big deal.
Former standard all-star corrupt with Mirari and way back when I started playing.
Right.
to go down memory lane.
So yeah, what do we give it?
I gave this a C plus. You gave it a B minus. But notably, I know we're going to be long today, but I don't think you have to be mono black for this.
I agree, because if this is dealing 3, 4, you're still happy.
3 is probably not quite enough, but I think once you get to 4, you're happy with this.
Yeah. So would you?
In that case, like it's a 7 drop. Like if you have a 9/8 split, like it's pretty likely you'll have 4 swamps by the time you play this.
Right, exactly. So this one you can be a little bit more cheaty on the sources. Like I would still want to have 10 at a minimum, but
I agree. Yeah,
but we're not as strict on this one as some of the other ones.
There's also like ways to fetch out lands in green, so if you can always be fetching swamps, like
okay, so little recap here of black. We've kind of been narrating throughout our thoughts that it's a little bit dorkier, a little bit clunkier. Maybe the synergies we aren't as excited about. But what else did you want to lay out about the color?
I think ending it off on the Cat-gator kind of summarized a lot of my thoughts for black. Like you'll notice in this shell, it's mostly hybrid cards. Which could potentially be poached by other colors. So I think black's looking pretty grim. You probably want to be the only black drafter at the table, but I'm not going to say it's bad enough that it's like a color you need to avoid completely.
Yeah, totally. And, just a quick note I want to mention about color strengths and all of that. One thing that we often talk about when we get to the rares and mythics is that it's really nice when there's some really good mythics or rares in colors that maybe aren't good otherwise. So, don't take our evaluation here as like, oh, you should try not to draft black. If you open a good black rare, it's still probably viable.
And there is a lot of good black rares and mythics.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.